History deserves to be remembered. And today, we're going to tell you about the most incredible spy of World War II. Not a trained intelligence officer, not a military expert, just an ordinary Spanish chicken farmer who became so good at lying that he fooled the entire Nazi intelligence apparatus, saved over 100,000 Allied lives, and received medals from both sides of the war. This is the story of Juan Pujol García, codenamed Garbo by the British and Arable by the Germans. The man who single-handedly changed the course of D-Day. The spy who couldn't die no matter how many times he tried to get himself killed. And the best part, he made it all up as he went along. Let's go back to 1941. Juan Pujol García is 29 years old, living in Lisbon, Portugal. He's a Spanish citizen who fled Spain after the Civil War. He's worked as a chicken farmer, a cinema manager, and a hotel worker. He has no military training, no intelligence experience, no special skills whatsoever. But he has one thing: he absolutely hates fascism. Pujol watched the Spanish Civil War tear his country apart. He saw Franco's fascists, supported by Nazi Germany and Mussolini's Italy, destroy the Spanish Republic. Now World War II is raging, and Pujol wants to do something, anything, to fight against the Nazis. So he walks into the British embassy in Madrid and offers his services as a spy. The British reject him. They think he's a nobody. No training, no connections, no value. Pujol doesn't give up. He tries the British again in Lisbon, rejected again. So Pujol decides to do something insane. If the British won't let him spy for them, he'll spy for the Germans first, build a reputation, and then offer his services to the British as a double agent. Let me say that again. A chicken farmer with no training decided to infiltrate Nazi intelligence on his own, just so he could eventually help the British. In 1941, Pujol walks into the German embassy in Madrid and offers to spy for Nazi Germany. The Germans are interested. Spain is officially neutral but pro-German. Pujol tells them he has contacts in Britain and can travel there to gather intelligence. He plays up his hatred of communism and admiration for the new Europe under German leadership. The Germans bite. They give him a crash course in invisible ink codes and espionage techniques. They give him money. And they give him a mission: go to Britain, establish yourself, and start sending intelligence reports. There's just one problem. Pujol has no intention of actually going to Britain. He doesn't have a visa. He doesn't have contacts. He doesn't have any way to get there. So he does something absolutely brilliant. He goes to Lisbon, Portugal, tells the Germans he's in London, and starts completely making up intelligence reports. Using a tourist guidebook to Britain, a map of London, a British railway timetable, and newsreel footage he watched in movie theaters, Pujol begins fabricating elaborate intelligence reports about British military installations, troop movements, and defenses. And the Germans believe every word. But Pujol doesn't just send simple reports. He creates an entire fictional spy network. He invents agents. He gives them names, personalities, backgrounds. There's Agent 1, a Portuguese salesman in London. Agent 2, a German-Swiss businessman. Agent 3, a Venezuelan in Glasgow who works at a military base. None of these people exist. Pujol is sitting in Lisbon inventing all of this. But here's the genius part. Pujol makes mistakes on purpose. He reports things that sound plausible but are slightly wrong. Why? Because if everything he reported was perfectly accurate, the Germans might get suspicious. Real spies make mistakes. Real intelligence is imperfect. For example, he reports that troops in Liverpool are preparing to sail, claiming soldiers are paid in pounds sterling. Actually, British soldiers were paid in shillings and pence. He describes convoys departing from Liverpool when the port was actually closed that week. Small errors that make his reports feel authentic. The Germans eat it up. They start paying him more. They ask for more reports. They believe he's their most valuable agent in Britain. Meanwhile, British intelligence is intercepting these German communications. They're reading decoded German messages about this amazing spy they have in Britain, codenamed Arable. The British are confused. Who the hell is this guy? They don't have any double agents feeding this information. Is there a real German spy operating in Britain that they don't know about? They start investigating Pujol's reports and realize something incredible. Almost everything is wrong. The details are off. The locations are slightly incorrect. Whoever this spy is, he's not actually in Britain. The British realize what's happening. Some absolute madman is pretending to spy for Germany, making everything up, and the Germans believe him. And the British have a brilliant idea. What if we actually recruit this guy? In April 1942, MI5 finally makes contact with Pujol through intermediaries. They bring him to Britain for real this time and officially recruit him as a double agent. Now Pujol, codenamed Garbo, after the actress Greta Garbo because he's such a good performer, is working for British intelligence while the Germans think he's their star spy. The British give him a handler, Tamaz Harris, and they start feeding carefully crafted disinformation to the Germans through Pujol's spy network. But here's the beautiful part. Pujol's fictional spy network has grown massive. He's now claiming to have 27 agents working for him across Britain. 27 completely imaginary people. And the Germans believe all of them exist. The British help Pujol maintain this elaborate fiction. They craft messages in character for each fictional agent. They create backstories, family problems, financial complaints. One agent supposedly dies, and Pujol sends a death notice and requests a pension for the agent's widow. The Germans send money for the widow, a widow who doesn't exist. By 1944, Pujol and his fictional spy network have become Germany's most trusted intelligence source in Britain. Everything is building toward one moment, D-Day. The Allies are planning the invasion of Normandy, but they need the Germans to believe the invasion is coming somewhere else at past Calais, the closest point between Britain and France. Operation Fortitude is born, an elaborate deception campaign, and Garbo Juan Pujol is at the center of it. In the weeks before D-Day, Pujol's fictional agents send hundreds of reports to Germany. They describe massive troop buildups in southeast England, pointing to past Calais. They report fake army divisions, fake equipment, fake preparations. The British even create an entire Phantom Army, the first U.S. Army group under General Patton, with inflatable tanks, fake radio traffic, and dummy landing craft. Pujol's agents observe all of this and report it to Germany. Then comes June 6, 1944, D-Day. The Allies land in Normandy. The Germans are caught off guard, but they still don't move their reserves from past Calais. Why? Because 3 hours before the invasion begins, Pujol sends an urgent message. Troops embarking in large numbers in southeast England. Invasion imminent. The message arrives too late for the Germans to do anything, but it proves Pujol's credibility. He tried to warn them. Then after the Normandy landings begin, Pujol sends another message. Normandy is a diversion. The real invasion is still coming at past Calais. And the Germans believe him. They keep 2 entire panzer divisions and massive infantry forces waiting at past Calais for an invasion that never comes. For 7 critical weeks, Hitler refuses to move troops from past Calais to Normandy because he trusts Garbo's intelligence. The deception works perfectly. The Allies established their beachhead in Normandy. Historians estimate that Pujol's disinformation saved at least 100,000 Allied lives by keeping German reinforcements away from Normandy. In July 1944, the Germans award Juan Pujol the Iron Cross Second Class, one of Nazi Germany's highest military honors for his invaluable intelligence work. 5 months later, in November 1944, King George VI awards Pujol the Member of the Order of the British Empire MBE for his service to Britain. Juan Pujol García is the only person in history to receive military honors from both Nazi Germany and the Allied powers in World War II. After the war, Pujol wants out. He's exhausted. He fakes his own death from malaria in Angola and disappears. MI5 officially records him as dead. Pujol moves to Venezuela, opens a bookstore, and lives quietly for decades. The world thinks he's dead. Even his German handlers believe he died. It's not until 1984, nearly 40 years later, that a historian tracks him down. Pujol is alive, living in Caracas, running a small business. He's 72 years old. When asked why he did it, Pujol gives a simple answer. I hated fascism. I wanted to do something. Juan Pujol García passed away in 1988 at the age of 76. He lived to see his story finally told, his role in D-Day finally recognized. He was never a soldier, never a trained spy, just an ordinary man who decided to fight tyranny the only way he knew how, by lying so convincingly that he changed the course of history. He invented 27 spies that never existed. He fooled the entire Nazi intelligence apparatus. He helped save over 100,000 lives, and he received medals from both sides of the war, the spy who couldn't die because he was never really there in the first place. Juan Pujol García, Agent Garbo, the greatest liar of World War II. History deserves to be remembered, even when it's built on brilliant lies.